Howdy, Paul. How are you doing? Okay, got your work up here. And I want to mention a couple of things. Now, I'm not real sure about this fold right here. The reason is because if you think of how many times you go ahead and open your wallet and grab a bill by the corner, I'm just thinking that's just prone to tear. I really think it is. I'm not real sure. Plus, if you fold this over and you see, let's say this side, for example, if this is folded over, the 50 is really super tiny as the 20 and then the 100 are too. So a little bit weird about that fold right there in the money, in the currency bill. Okay, the other thing I want to mention is I love the color palette. I do, but I think I would introduce more colors. You've got this border, which is fantastic. My main thing is this, Paul. Please don't take this the wrong way. But these, you know what? I did this, and I do this quite often when I'm critiquing and taking an analytical look at student work. Is I do a lot of different things. If I have the print in front of me, I'll turn it upside down. I'll turn it sideways. If I don't have the print in front of me, if I have PDF, I'll do the same thing. I'll rotate it just to see things that might be there that you don't necessarily see in its true orientation. The next thing I do is I always get up. Okay, if it's like this on screen, I'll get up and I'll walk back about 10 feet and I'll take a look at it and what does it look like to me? And I did that with yours and I said to myself, does this look like currency? And the answer I kept on coming up with is it really doesn't look like currency. So I think the main thing is the yellow background. The yellow background is well, I mentioned this to Paul. I'm sorry, I mentioned this to David in the recording before yours, so take a look at that. And David, if you're watching this, please, I'm sorry. I created the video for David on my laptop, which has really, really bad audio. So it's super tinny audio, tinty audio, and tinny audio, and it's really bad quality. So just if you can get through that, that's great. But one of those recommendations was the fact that this is currency, so it's going to get filthy. I mean, think about after 5 years, it's just going to get filthy. So I'm not real sure that this pristine yellow is a good choice for the background of the currency. The illustrations are neat. I really think they are. I think that there's not enough in your designs. I think that if we take a look at currency design, specifically at that article that I shared with you guys, it's very busy, and the reason it's very busy, of course, is to prevent counterfeiting, and the other reason is to prevent the bills from looking like they're really filthy. Each one has a very unique visual approach. So I think that one of the things I might recommend here is this, and I never mentioned this until now because I wanted to see how students approach this. Now, I want to show you an example. And I think the realism in these examples, this and this, I think the realism here is really, really remarkable. One of the reasons why is because these students have chosen and elected to use live trace or image trace in Illustrator. And I think that's smart because if you take a look at the examples, all of the examples use image trace, and it just adds this sense of realism to the currency that I think really could be, that you could use this sense of realism in your work. I'm not saying this approach is so unique. It's actually pretty cool. I really like it. It just seems like they're not quite finished. So, and then you've got some inconsistencies here in the borders. You got the 10, 20, and 50, and then you have the 100. Now, I think that was probably on purpose because the 100 is going to be delineated as a completely different bill because of its value. So I understand the fact that border is going to be a little bit different. Typography, I think, looks good. I would recommend one thing, though, with the type is that you've got this visual phenomenon going on here. And I don't have a PDF, so I think what I can do is, let me bring something up I can use as a rule. Let's do this. Okay, let me just get rid of that. Oh, that's a message to our class, so that's not confidential, so we can leave that right there. At any rate, I'm going to use this as a straight edge. I just want you to see something. See how you have the O, the top of the O and the top of the 2. See how the O doesn't quite reach? We have this thing in typography. It's called overshoot or overhang. Look at the top of this ruler. Look at the bottom of the 50, of the 5, and the top and the bottom of the 0. The 0 itself looks like it's smaller than the 5, and that's because in typography, as I was mentioning, we have this thing called overhang, where you take any rounded elements and they will overhang any straight elements just by a little. So what you want to do is just make sure that, because if we look at this, the 2 definitely looks way bigger than the 0 here. The 5 looks bigger here. The 1 looks bigger here. And it looks like you've kind of done, these 2 zeros are different sizes. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, they're not aligned. But anyway, so just remember, any curve, you want to make it a little bit larger just to reduce that visual phenomenon that it's smaller. Okay. So other than that, I'd like you to just just keep working, keep doing what you're doing, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything else, please feel free to let me know. All right. Great job. Thanks, Paul.